So good evening. We are about to start our couples corner. We have actually we'll go around and do introductions, but this is an opportunity, real relevant topics with couples, married couples, and we'll do introductions and start with an icebreaker. My name is Tamara Mitchell Davis.
Joe Davis.
Joyce Heaven.
Dwight Heaven.
Lady Carrie Mccrorey.
Reverend John McCrorey.
All right.
Okay, welcome to all the couples. Okay. First question. Wives, I want you to write down on a piece of paper.
Wives.
Yes,
Okay.
wives. I want you to write down. What's the body part that you think your husband likes the most about you?
Oh.
Should they see them? No, they
Nope.
can't see.
Nope. Hide your answers. Hide your answers. Husbands, you're not safe.
Uh-oh.
I want you to write down your favorite body part on your wife.
Oh, that's you. Oh.
Yep. Favorite body part on your wife.
No.
Got done?
Yep.
Mr. Davis?
Yep.
Done?
Yep.
Okay, couple number one. Body part. Let's see what you wrote.
What do I think that
Your husband liked the most about you.
Can't see it.
Oh, eyes.
Eyes. Let's turn over your paper. What did you say?
That's the first thing I talked about when I said
Eyes. Okay. Couple number one. Couple number two. Miss Davis. But.
I love it.
Wow. What did you write, Mr. Davis?
tits.
Let us see. Let us see what you wrote. Turn it around.
Tits. Tits.
Okay. Couple number two didn't do so well. Couple
okay.
number three. Let's see what you wrote.
I think it's a toss up. Oh Lord.
Nipples and butt. Okay, we have two answers. Let's see what you wrote.
I put eyelashes.
Oh yeah, he does like my eyelashes.
Safe answer. I like that.
Okay.
Is this live?
Yes, it is live.
Hello, America.
Okay.
Look, first Joe said he didn't want nothing to drink. Now you said that.
That's real dry.
Okay. Second question. Husbands, I want you to write down what's the easiest way to get your wife upset.
Yeah.
Let's go. Those pens to writing.
We don't have any points on the board. Just we don't either.
Wives, while they're busy, write down what is the easiest way to get you upset. Okay. Everybody done?
No.
No? Not done?
You make me mad a lot.
Yeah, long name.
You finished writing, Mr. Davis?
No, I don't know.
You gotta write an answer. Write down multiple if there is multiple.
Upset, right?
No, I don't really.
See? That's why
Let
you
me
can't.
answer that.
That's why you can't think of anything.
Pew, pew,
No, he's
pew,
thinking of the
pew,
safe
pew,
answers when
pew,
he's doing it.
pew.
We need that music.
Eh. You got your answer? Okay. Husband number one. Easiest way to get your wife upset. What did you write?
Not picking up after myself.
Okay.
Yep. Messiness, not cleaning up the house.
Okay. Couple number one. Husband number two. What did you write?
Don't listen.
Not
That would
listening.
be accurate.
Oh, wow.
listening.
That's exactly what she wrote.
We know. So now I know you do it on purpose.
Yep.
Husband number three.
When I bring my girlfriend over for dinner.
Okay.
No. She don't like when I eat in bed or talk with food in my mouth.
Okay.
He's absolutely right. But I said something else because there's a few things. So,
What
but
did
he's
you
right
write?
about those two.
When he pissed on the toilet. Okay, third question. Y'all gonna write at the same time. In the house, who was the better cook?
Oh, goodness.
Be honest. Oh, that was quick. You done. Who is the better cook in the house?
She's still right.
Okay. Wife number one, who's the better cook?
I have to give it to him. Chef D Heaven is the better cook, but I clean up better after done cooking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Husband
me.
number one.
Me.
Okay, husband is the better cook.
I
Number
have
two.
husband.
Husband.
Me.
Wait, let us see. Put it back up. Let us see. Okay.
Y'all can't cook. Y'all making me look bad. Oh, she said she don't like my cooking, so she's the better cook.
Uh-oh.
She does all cooking. Oh, wife.
Wife is the better cook.
We still need a smiley face.
Okay. Let's see. Wives, I want you to write down. This is easy. Should be easy. Your husband's favorite ice cream flavor. Let's see.
You said that should be easy.
Your husband's favorite ice cream flavor. Two wives not writing yet. Husbands, while they're writing, write down your favorite ice cream flavor.
My favorite?
Your favorite ice cream flavor. Let me know when everyone's finished. Pew, 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 pew. Finish? Oh, still writing? Finish?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
Me
see what you
first?
wrote. Yep, first.
Butternut.
Butternut. Did you get it? Butternut. Okay. Couple number two.
Butter pecan.
Butter pecan. What's his favorite ice cream flavor?
Maple walnut.
Maple walnut. Couple number three.
I said chunky monkey, but there's several.
Yeah.
Is it like nuts and
Like nuts.
chocolate and?
So what did you write on your paper? Butter pecan. I'm not giving that to you. I know. Chunky monkey, butter pecan. No.
Different ones, right?
Okay.
What I like for breakfast?
Okay. Husbands. If your wife could live anywhere in the world, where would she live? Anywhere in the world. Oh, husband number one finished. Anywhere in the world, where would your wife live?
We should write it down too.
Yep. I want you to write down where you would live if you could live anywhere in the world, the whole wide world. Let me know when everyone's finished. Someone looks a little nervous. Okay. Wife number one, where would you live?
Florida.
Florida. What did you say, husband?
Florida.
Florida. Okay. Couple number two,
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Where do you
North
live?
Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
I love it.
Couple number three,
Barbara Street.
Barbara Street. Did you write Barbara Street?
No.
Okay.
Well, I guess she sings for Los Angeles, something like that.
Los Angeles,
California.
California.
I ain't say nowhere. Because there's
several places that I would like to live. So that's an ant for us. I never thought of that.
Okay, I want both of y'all to write at the same time, husbands and wives. Let's test your memory. What did you do on your first date?
Oh, hell.
Uh-oh. Somebody throwing in the towel? What did you do on your first date? Testing your memory here. Let's see. You okay, husband number one?
Okay, I don't remember that.
Oh, God.
What did you do on your first date?
Oh God, what is he going to say?
Feels like he
Take the
comes
wheel.
with this one, right?
Let's see. Okay, I want you to turn them over at the same time. Let's see what both of you wrote.
I'm so
Let's see.
nervous, Dwight Heaven.
I know you are. What you
Move
put?
your hand.
What you put?
I know what we did the first
What-
time.
what we
we
do?
chilled in the kitchen and had a drink and talked.
You got it
Is
right?
that what you wrote?
Went to her place.
Yeah!
Okay.
I'm talking
You
about.
got it.
I didn't
Okay.
think you remembered that.
Well, number two. What did
She
you do
put
on the first
movies,
date?
I put the club.
The club. Did y'all do both?
Bobby Street.
With me?
Yeah.
Here we go.
On Bobby Street.
On Bobby Street.
Alabama?
Yeah.
We having technical difficulties, people.
Alabama.
They don't know what they did on their first date. We're going back and forth.
Uh-oh, Tammy.
What did y'all do on the first date?
Oh, what we
We're
do?
confused.
Movies.
Movies?
Club. I don't know.
Did y'all do movies and club?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Good answer.
Are you
Went to the
sure?
movies and then we went to the
There
club.
you go. That works, right?
Are you sure?
Sound good.
Okay. Couple number three.
You was the outstick.
Outback Steakhouse.
Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. You got it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Remember that?
All right. The question. What you say?
One more?
You got another one for us?
Okay. Wives, I'll ask you this question.
Okay.
Which do you think your husband would prefer more, spicy or sweet?
That's easy.
That's, wife number one said that's easy.
That's easy.
Okay. Husband, you can write down. What do you prefer, spicy or sweet?
What do you mean by spicy or sweet?
Food.
Food. Oh.
Spicy or sweet? Not each other.
I heard that one.
Everybody's done?
Yep.
Okay. What did you write?
Spicy.
Spicy. She got it? What did you say?
Spicy.
Spicy?
Sweet.
You go sweet.
You don't like spicy stuff. You say I ate too much sweet.
Oh, I thought it was for.
It's supposed to be what he likes. I know, but I thought that because you don't like, so you deter me from eating mine. Okay, never mind. I digress.
Couple number three. Spicy. You got it? Spicy.
Yep.
Okay. Guess I got one more question. This should be easy.
Keep saying
This should be easy. Husbands, write down your wife's favorite color.
Oh,
Favorite color. Wives, write down your favorite color. Right. Let's see. Wife number one.
Purple.
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 Purple. Couple number two.
red.
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 Okay. Couple number three.
She said she like earth colors. Brown.
What'd you write? Earthy colors. Okay. Pay attention to detail. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
So, you done?
Yep.
All right. So we're gonna get started with the questions. Did you say who? That was tough, like right.
Really?
Joyce, the questions are over there.
Yes,
So we'll do
yes.
the same thing, pull questions from the bag and see what we come up with. Pull it back. Oh yeah, Joyce, you can pull it out.
Want me to pull it?
And then we'll
Alright.
round table discuss.
First question we have. How do you keep intimacy spicy so each other doesn't get bored? I'm gonna let you take that.
We'll pass it on over here. All right.
So for those that didn't
Here's the
hear,
question. Here, you
the
got it.
question is how to keep intimacy spicy so each other don't get bored. Who's going to take the question first?
The Mccrorey.
Give it to her.
The McCoreys will take the question first.
Just tell her what I want. Because see, I'm very in touch with my emotions, feelings. I'm a writer, so I'm into creating, right? So I gotta have the easel to be able to create. So this is the canvas, and you're not gonna know what I want unless I tell you. So we gotta be able to communicate. And let her know.
He's smooth, y'all. He's smooth.
Well, actually, I think that today was kind of like an example. Before we came here, we tried something different, intimate.
It's live. Keep rolling.
and it was different. It was different for me. I don't know where he probably, where it came from, but it was different. But at the same time, it made him happy, and it was different, for me. But I enjoyed as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Mrs. Davis.
Mr. Kappa.
Sorry, Mrs. Davis is the answer. Who would like to go first? Mrs.
Ladies before
So, or ladies before gentlemen, how to keep intimacy spicy so each other doesn't get bored. I would say, try new things. As an example, we tried something we hadn't done in a while, and he was like, "Damn, baby, we ain't tried that in a while." And I was like, "Yeah," and we both were pleased. And the next day, I rolled up on him, and I just gave him a passionate kiss, held his face, and it was like a carryover from the night before, and held his face and kissed him passionately, and then I left, and then he called me, and he was like, "Damn, you ain't kissed me like that in a long time. You ain't kissed me like that in a long time. I've been thinking about that all day. Make sure you have that same energy when you come home." So it's I guess, keep trying different things, and even things that you have tried before, bring it back, and don't allow yourself to get bored with it. Is your face round up like that?
Yeah, it is.
I think you forgot who was recording.
Well, with me, I feel that how I got her is how I have to keep her. So things that we tried when I was trying to get her is the things that I still try to put into our relationship. And at the same time, just like she said, it was a kiss. She kissed me, but it was a lot of fluid. And that fluid just flowed through my body that I thought about it all day, that, I hate to say it, I'm up in age, and it just got my spot plugged. So,
Your juice is flowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey.
You okay?
No, I'm not. But don't be afraid to try new things. And I'm gonna be honest with us. It's more, when are the kids not in the room? Because we still got babies, so it's trying to be spontaneous and being able to be spontaneous. even when the lights are on and it's daytime and the sunshine is shining through the window, and if that's the only time the kids aren't home. So.
Okay.
We got Cujo.
Go on.
Big dogs.
Yeah, I think I'm a Scorpio, so she know I want it anytime, any place. You know, even if we go to the club and we act like we teenagers sometime on the way home. So
TMI.
whatever, everybody else speaking, we speaking.
That's
Whatever,
right.
we ain't got this many kids for nothing. I mean, yeah, I think it's just, I think the spontaneity is what makes it fresh and fun and different. And yeah, we got kids that seem like they walk in birth control where as soon as the feeling come up, the door's getting kicked down. And, so we gotta get it in when we can fit it in. And we keep it moving.
Okay, so to recap, women, if you're trying to keep a husband, men, if you're trying to keep a wife, be spontaneous.
Be
What else?
spontaneous.
Do it in the light and not just in the dark.
Right?
What else?
Be passionate.
Be
with
passionate. Try new things.
it. Try new things. Even try the old things.
And if you married,
Maintain.
if you married, there shouldn't be nothing y'all should be nervous about or
Exactly.
ashamed about or
Say.
whatever.
Just keep that candle lit.
Just keep it going.
Keep the candle lit.
But I
Basically,
what
do
you-
it all.
Yeah, I like what you said. The canvas thing. Like, you know, you have to tell someone what you like, what you want.
Yeah.
And other than that, how would they know?
How would they know what you like?
And I'm very vocal, right? I'm like, no.
Like that. Like this.
Yeah.
What you do? What are you
Just
doing?
don't hurt my feelings. Use my ego, but don't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, so I like that. So talk, I guess, communication too, right? So,
Yeah.
say what you want, know what you want, be comfortable in what you want, and rock with it. Explore. That's another thing too. When you paint the canvas, you don't know sometimes what is the outcome of it. Like you have an idea. So I don't know. Now I'm going in this whole world of art, and I never ventured out. Just I don't know. That was good. Yeah.
I like that thought.
The canvas, the blank canvas. So,
Ready for the next question?
yeah. Unless anybody else have anything.
Well, I guess, I can add a scripture to that. The book of Hebrews said that marriage is honorable and that the bed is undefiled. So undefiled means that anything that you and your partner is comfortable with. We're not talking about including other people or anything like that. But I'm saying anything that you guys are comfortable with, I feel there should be no shame in that bedroom because what a lot of people don't understand that intimacy is opening up who I am. And if I can't be real to the person I'm in love with, who can I be real with, So one of the things that we should be able to do in a bedroom is not be afraid to share. This is who I am. And the more shocking, she's like, Church, get this card, girl.
Here.
I know.
Because they're here. Yeah. So you may have to, like when they're over on that side. Okay. Just to make sure. So the question is, tips on how to reconnect if your partner feels there is a distance in a relationship. So tips on how to reconnect if your partner feels there's a distance in the relationship.
Who would like to take the question first?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yes. The wife always. Yes, the wife.
Tips on how to reconnect. Well, I think in our situation, because of how I work and kids, and we got kids and different things, sometimes you gotta just kind of make time for that partner. You kind of like, it's that question on, I think there was a question that came up recently, who comes first, my wife or the kids? I think it was like something like that. And sometimes we spend so much time making sure the kids are straight that
Forget about us.
we forget about us. So I think, we have to like really put time aside. We gotta say, okay, kids gotta be on their own for a second. We gotta put time in for us, even if it's just a movie or out to eat or Couples Corner. Just some time for us. Because in the past, I think me and her would have been like, we ain't got time for Couples Corner. We gotta do dance class. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. Now we're kind of to the point where we gotta say,
We're trying to focus more.
more on us.
Is that, to your point, you know, we love the kids, and the kids, you know, we love them, but they will put distance, you know, between Dwight and I, remembering that we are married, we are a couple, we need to make time for ourselves. So, and that's happened. We're so busy with sports and dance and taking, this one got to get to work, this one got to get picked up, that it could, you know, a whole day has gone by and we haven't taken a second to, babe, I love you, babe, I miss you, how was your day? And so now we're trying to focus more on us and say, okay, it's okay if the kids have an evening where they got to take care of themselves, you know. We got to spend time together and remember us. So I think just remembering each other and taking that time out.
Okay. Who would like to go next? Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess like with us, you know, because we're always in some type of major project, and you got to kind of one of the persons in the relationship got to kind of like deputize himself to hold the other person accountable. You know, I don't care what you involve with during the day. Now I need my time, because what starts to happen if couples are not you know, cognizant of that, you'll get to where you're trying to be, but you'll be there by yourself. You want to get there together. So look, I'm 100% behind whatever you're trying to do, but then there's got to be a time when we table that and get back to us. Or what start happening is, you know, you come in and you'll be wore out and everything like that, and I'm not trying to hit that. I waited for what you got to do.
That's right.
Now it's feeding time at the zoo, so it's very important that we keep balance and let an individual know, you know, because like with my wife, I know when she's in that zone, you know, and I let her do what she got to do, and I'll hide you. But don't come home and just fall asleep, because you know I'm here. Because when it starts to happen is, I think a lot of men need to say that, you know, the person will come home and they burnt out. Now you feel fulfilled, and that's great, but what about me? And the best word for that is being selfish, and that has no place in a marriage.
Yes.
Ooh, he dropping jewels, y'all. I hope y'all catching it.
Well, ditto. I really don't have much to say. I mean, he's right, because, you know, I do a lot, and sometimes I come home, I am tired, and just what he said, you know, he has to remind me, okay, babe, you know, for real, now, I'm here. So, and I have to think about that, you know, that is being selfish, that, you know, he done allowed me to do, you know, all the things that I needed to do, and now just needing the time, you know, him needing his time. And to go back on what you guys were saying as far as with the kids and stuff, at one point in time, it was like that with us too. I have older kids. I have two older kids and a teenager, and my husband and I, we just have a son together, and he's 12. And this is my husband's only child. And he used to have a hard time as far as, you know, like breaking the loose, you know, getting away from DJ, which he's 12 years old now, but now he's starting to learn how to, you know, take the time out with us. And you know, we went on our anniversary, and he talking about he want to bring him. I told him, you know what, I'm
Absolutely
out.
not.
Look, we on our anniversary, and you talking about, listen, I'll see you later. I'll be on the way, and I'm going. I ain't bringing no kids on our anniversary. So we do manage to try to balance, you know. And he always tell me that all the time, as far as, you know, balancing, you know, the kids, our marriage, my projects, church, you know, and stuff like that. So we got a lot of juggling.
Okay. Mrs. Davis, you want to take that question, or Mr. Davis first?
Well, I feel that I'm a piggyback everybody, because me myself, I have to work extra hard from my past, and me working extra hard, I worked like 3 to 4 jobs, and it's taken away from my wife, taken away from the household, taken away from church. So I found myself being frustrated trying to do everything as far as working, and I have no time for myself or my wife. So we have compromised that from now on, like me working on Sunday mornings, I'm not doing that anymore because I'm a focus on church. Then like every time I come up with my job schedule, I always bring it to my wife first because I don't want to, feel that I'm working too much and I don't have no time for her. So being balanced is where I'm at. Thank you.
Thank you.
Davis,
What's the question again?
how to reconnect if your partner feels like there's a disconnection in the relationship?
So I don't know. So like I have a lot going on, and Joe always works. I think for me, in my favor, because he works a lot, that gives me permission to do what I do and not have to worry about XYZ. However, I do get selfish and I do get in my feelings when he comes home and he's going in the bed and just going right to sleep, and then I'm on him like, hello, what do I say?
Remember me?
Remember me?
Aww.
And even with the whole work schedule thing, like I see it. If I don't have anything planned, I'm like, okay, but I'm the planner, I'm the one that's planning everything. So I feel like that's the thing on my shoulders. Like I have to figure out time for us to get away, still away, or it depends. If I bring something to his attention, he's quick to react to it. Like we had a breakfast this morning and it was impromptu, and he was like, okay, well, I'll just change my schedule. So he has the job to do that. But there are times where it's like strained. We're like ships passing in the night. He's coming in, I'm going out. I'm coming in, he's going out. And I start feeling some type of way. And I always, I'll text him, I'll call him, like, what we doing? Like, what you doing? And so I think it's making time, like understanding, it goes back to the communication, understanding where you are and demanding. I say demanding because that's a part of being selfish. Demanding, like, I need to see you, we need to do something, we need to talk, we need to whatever. Because I feel when you start pulling apart and that distance comes in, it's like straining the marriage because you're pulling apart. You're not spending time with each other. You off doing something else, and it's just not. I don't know. I'm selfish. I'm spoiled and I'm selfish, and I want what I want.
Hold
when
on,
I
y'all.
want it.
Say that again.
I'm spoiled and I'm selfish. I can admit that. I can admit that.
Wow.
And I want what I want when I want it.
Preach.
So I think she said preach. I think I don't know. I keep saying I don't know.
I can piggyback on that. I can piggyback on it. I can throw a question out there. And I know this is different, but I think the issue that she has with me is I work so much. I'm probably like Joe. I give my wife my schedule as much as I can. She schedules I work for the state, so I schedule rotate. She does my yearly schedule on my phone. If she doesn't do it, I don't know what days I'm going to work because my days off change every week. I mean, it's the same 6-week rotation, but it's just 1 week I got Monday, Tuesday, next week I got Wednesday. But sometimes I fall loose in my weeks, so I got to look at my phone and then everything else. She does all the planning. My question is, am I the only man that does not plan something? Because she gets mad at me when she's like, okay, I'm always planning on us going out. I'm going to leave it up to you. And I'll be lost. Because I'm like, okay, she does all the planning. Now she's throwing it to me where, so-and-so Friday, I want you to plan the dinner out. You need to plan the date night. And then I'm literally Friday night.
We still don't have a plan.
Ain't got nothing. And she makes me feel like I'm the only person that does it. I'm like, I'm not a planner. I'm spontaneous where she makes every plan and she knows I'm like, babe, you know my days off. So I expect her to just fill it in.
But I think that I don't know, I would want Joe sometimes to take the initiative to plan something for us. So he'll show me the schedule like, here's my schedule. What do you think? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, if I don't have anything planned, I'm like, okay. So then I came up with this thing, I'm like, all right, write your scheduled out on a calendar. So we have a monthly calendar that everyone should put their, like, whatever's going on the calendar. Only person writing on the calendar is me. My schedule. So he has his
Sounds familiar.
He has his dates. He does not write his dates on a calendar.
Nope.
He gives it to me for me to have a photographic memory.
Yes. Right.
Oh,
And you're supposed to remember.
You're supposed to remember. So when Thursday come and he's not home and I call him like, oh, what you doing? Oh, I had to work. Remember I showed you my schedule? Did you write it on the calendar?
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
but
remember. Oh, well, I showed it to you. Did you write it on the calendar? And then when it comes time to do something, and who's planning everything? I'm planning everything. And Joe said, oh, well, you know I'm not a planner. But it's like,
That's the excuse.
yeah, you know I'm not a planner.
But it's not an excuse though.
Right.
Thank you.
But you can plan something.
What am I playing? Going to Bikini Park Pond?
Can I go out on a limb though? But I think this really needs to be said, you know, because I'm that person that'll say it. And I think a lot of men, I'm going to use it from the man perspective. When you're feeling that there's stressors in your relationship, right? I think it's okay to say to your spouse, do you remember how we met? There's something I wasn't getting in another relationship. I don't want to be like that, but this is how I feel right now. And I'm coming to you and I'm telling you. And, you know, if you're not with a person that can't respect that, then it's going to start evolving to a breach, because you're only going to take so much of that void being there when it's going to open up something. And this is something important that we, you know, because I know a lot of us were driven and stuff like that, but when you got to be careful with ambition, because with all you're trying to achieve, and I'm speaking for myself, you can have all the money and all the gifts and all that. It's just somebody got some time for you. You know, somebody can just call you and say, how was your day? Or something like that. And you start saying, dang, I'm not getting that. You know what I mean? I got the house, I got the money, I got all that. Just that person want to know how I'm doing. So it's very important that, you know, again, with communication, that we listen to our spouse, because we might think that they're happy and they're getting what they want. We're giving them what we think they want. Is that okay? Good point. Say that?
Yeah, no, that's good. I think, but go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
I just wanted to say, I don't know. I just believe that, and I know sometimes, you know, it's probably good. I mean, I hear you ladies say that you know you want the husbands to. I mean, fortunately, my husband, we both plan. So, and I mean, it's really rare, like when you get two people that kind of like just do the same thing, you know. And we do a lot of things alike. But well, I'm just saying that, you know, God, when He created us all with different, you know, gifts and talents. And just like I heard Brother Joe was saying that, you know, he's not a planner, and which I can kind of like understand. Okay, that's not your thing. So as far as that's not what he do. So when a person don't do certain things, they're not gonna really put the effort into doing it, because that's not what they really do. And also too, they could be afraid that, okay, I'll do this. Okay, is it gonna be right? Or is this the way it's supposed to be? Or should I do it this way? You know what I mean? Because they really don't know.
But I get that, but I think that like we take risks doing that all the time. Because I'm planning, if I'm planning something, I'm planning what I want, what I think he would like. So I'm like, he usually like it, but I'm,
you know what? And
Big joke.
you know what? And you know, and Brother Joe, you know that she's good at what she do, right?
Right.
And you know,
Please don't give him a pass.
and whatever she do, you know that your wife. Well, I don't care what my
got me.
wife playing. I know that whatever she playing, I know I'm gonna be ready to go or ready to do.
But
right?
wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
Hold on. But do a person in a relationship, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Have the right to say no. No, and I don't want to.
don't wanna do that.
And this is another
no, I
thing.
don't want to do that.
No, well, this is kind of, and I think this needs to be said. I'm bold enough to say this. You know, I don't want to be chauvinistic, but then again, I do feel that as a man, and this is something my wife is kind of getting better with. You know, and I'm just saying, when I speak as a man, and I'm telling you, I don't like that. I should not be overruled. You should respect my voice.
That's right.
Because ain't gonna be too much of whatever. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna go a little deeper. Everybody know I like the runaway girl. I do. I like that, whatever. But then again, when I say stop, I do feel you should respect my voice, because if I'm not being heard, then why am I here? And what starts to happen with, like myself, I'm a communicator, but when I get quiet, there's a problem. That means I'm just to my point where I've spoken so much, you don't hear me, so whatever you want to do, and I got this thing, y'all pray for me. And we're being real about it. There's been times when I've said to my wife, look, if you're gonna do it, don't even ask me, and I'll just cut my phone off. Don't even. If you've already decided what you want to do, don't even ask me. You know what I mean? And then she was like, but no, I want your opinion. But you've already
You can't
decided.
go all the way under Tammy. You can't go all the way.
Honey, you want to wear the pants, and you want to. I let you stay in your lane, but you want to play both roles. I mean, I'm probably gonna get thrown out of this round table, but it needs to be said. Babe, you married a man, okay? Can I have him back, please? And can I be? I'm not gonna disrespect you as the woman in this house, but I do have my place as the man of the house, and you gotta respect it, and we gotta compromise. I'll hear your side, try it your way. But if I say no, please don't overrule me, because it ain't gonna be too much. And this needs to be said, because you know what starts to happen? Y'all ready for this?
Say it out.
And I say this jokingly, but it's true. That opens up where I start saying, dang, you know, my wife give me a hard time, but the girl on the side, she don't give me that problem. I'm not saying it's right.
I'm about to flip this table.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, but you get tired of battle Roma all the time. You know, Dave, I gotta wrestle with you. I don't work this job. I'm tired or whatever. And I gotta come home and fall out with you. You know, and really, this really need to be said. With men, like, fellas, y'all help me out. We deal from respect. You know what I mean? Just like even something small like tonight, when I met Brother Joe, my knees was bothering me, and I was sitting down. But we understand. It's the way we deal with each other. I got up and came around. Men, we understand that we got certain things how we communicate, and sometimes women have to work on that. We don't like that. Help me out, fellas. We don't like that disrespect stuff too much. We, you know, and I'm not saying anybody's background or whatever, but sometimes, as a whole, women have to understand that with men, we deal from, help me out, fellas, about respect. And we ain't gonna take too much of you disrespecting me, because we check each other. Even if we don't, we'll be like, yo, you know, when we walk down the street, y'all may not understand how we communicate. We may walk by somebody, I'm either not gonna say that to them, or I'm gonna say, what's up? But let's say you walking by somebody and you just stand like, what's up? We don't, am I right, fellas? We don't play that. And I think sometimes women don't understand that disrespect stuff, we'll compromise, but then there comes a time we say, you know what, you're taking something from me that I just can't allow for you to do. And then we got to bottom line it. Does that make sense?
I think in our relationship, when we get into arguments, I always tell her, just because you said it doesn't mean it makes more sense than my idea. Because a lot of times I think Joyce has been, before me, she pretty much ran everything. And I have nothing to say about her past, who she was with or whatever, but then you got somebody like me that actually comes in and busts his ass for his family. You know, and I truly, that would be the one argument that we would fight over if she told me I don't bust my ass for my family. I get up 2 or 3 in the morning, I work 17 hours sometimes, but sometimes when she has an idea, I always tell her, just because it's your idea doesn't mean that's the right idea. My ideas make some reasoning too. You know, it's like, if I say something and she'll overrule it, I'm like, okay, just because you thought about it don't mean it's right.
Right. And I want to say something too. And I pretty much said that to my husband today, something like that. I told him, you know, because my husband was married before. This is my first marriage. And like I told him, I said, we go back and forth. I mean, just like that's one thing about us. We let people know, even though, he's a pastor, I'm co-pastor, first lady of a church, we're transparent, we just keeping it real. And reason why, and that's one of the reasons why when we came on Couples Corner, we always wanted to do something like that. Do something like this is because it needs to be talked about. Keeping it real, our motto is keeping it real and keeping it hood. Because guess what? I don't care who you are, in a relationship, in a marriage, you go through, okay? And then you sitting up, just like I heard a young lady over there say that no, I'm not okay. It was, you said something about, you said, I'm not okay. It's okay to say that you're not okay.
Right.
You know, there's sometimes that me and my husband, we just done banged out before going to church. Okay?
Before I
Just keep it before you know, for real.
Yeah.
In real life. That's real life stuff. And that's what we do. We just want to keep it real, just to let people know, even in the Christian marriages, that, you know, yes, we do go through.
Yep.
Okay? But we also know how to come back to each other and straighten that thing out.
Right. And can I add to that? And that's one thing I will say that, you know, I applaud my wife for it, and I think that's what has helped us this year. God spare our lives, September 23rd, to be 13 years. She's the first woman I've ever dealt with, besides my mama, if she's wrong, say, you know what, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Because there comes a time when she knows that, you know, babe, I'm not trying to be that brute, but, you know, I feel I'm right, you know, and, you know, don't challenge my voice, like, because, like, you know, I'm just being real, you know, there's times when I be like, so you keep going back at me, I told you to stop, whatever, and I said stop, you know, okay, I'm not your father, but then again, there's something that I feel that I'm adamant about, I'm passionate about it, and I feel like you challenging me, but then again, there's a time when I got to come back to her and be responsible to say, well, listen, there's still a way I got to talk to you. You know, there's still a way I got to communicate with you when my son's in the house to hear you. There's certain language I shouldn't be using, certain tones, because I don't want you to fear me. I want you to respect me. And that's something that, because we're able to do that, I think we're able to do that and help and assist other couples. Not saying we make it right all the time, but we try to keep it real and let people know there's times when we, especially during production times too, and sometimes like this right here is a project that we're doing. And if people know how we go at it during production time, you know, you shut up, you stupid. You know, and then we come out like, hey everybody, you know, they just don't know. We like I can teeter in the back, but you know, but there comes a time when I do feel that, like I said, with intimacy, if you can't be honest and open with the person you're supposedly in love with, who can you be honest with, you know?
So I wanted to.
Hold on, I want to say something.
Oh, yes.
I've been a thug all my life. I chose my wife. We have a age difference. I chose her because she keeps me sharp. She ain't gonna let me walk over her. She's not gonna, you know, if I did something wrong, she's gonna tell me I did something wrong, and I need that in my life. And at the same time, this couple's corner, just like hearing you, it inspires me. Hearing you, it inspires me. This is the reason why me and my wife chose this couple's corner. Well, I chose it because I wanted to hear other people, other couples, you know, their problems, and you know, I filter it, and sometimes I act on listening to y'all, or you know, to make our relationship better. And I think from the beginning, see, this is our second time around, and this is the best time. I think right now, I done had all the money in the world, but I think right now I'm living my best life.
Amen.
So, you know, I just had to say that.
Amen.
She keeps me sharp. She keeps me on my toes. I'm not no lazy person. She makes sure I'm not lazy, you know. She does everything that a man would want.
You'll help me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
What month you born in?
Christmas. I'm a Christmas baby. December. December.
December what?
25th.
Oh my.
I'm a Christmas baby. Yeah. Yeah.
That's unique.
I am very special. So I wanted to touch on what you said, like respect and the communication and all of that, because I know that I'm not the best communicator, and I don't think my husband is the best communicator, and he doesn't like confrontation, he doesn't like drama, he wants peace all the time, and I'm the type sometimes that's like, huh?
Mr. Sunshine.
Mr. Sunshine. Mr. Sunshine. That's Mr. Sunshine. Yeah. And I call him that for a reason, but I think that when you said communication and the whole respect thing, because sometimes he'll say to me, like, but you didn't respect what I said, or I didn't respect something that happened. And it's like, it wasn't blatantly disrespect, but I'm trying to get my point across. And
Right.
he's not a communicator.
Right.
Like, he doesn't, like, I want to talk about it. This is how I felt. And so, as an example, last week, it was a miscommunication between us, and my phone died, and we were going somewhere, and I didn't send him the address, and he came in, and we both was in our feelings. And it's like, when we have arguments, we may go back and forth, and we yelling, and I'm still holding on. I'm like, but this is it, and this is this. And he like, it's dead. And I'm like, but it is this, and this is my point, and it, you know. And then he'll come around and like, so you want something to drink? And I'm still upset, and I'm still in my feelings. And like, no, actually, the next morning, he'll be like, you want some tea? And I'm like, I don't want nothing, you know, because I'm upset still in my feelings.
Are you the baby?
The baby?
Are you the only child?
No, I have a younger brother.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
Oh.
But I was the oldest for like 15 years before my brother came
It's like
along.
me for 18.
Yeah. So I think that when you said communication, though, Joe, I feel he needs to communicate or should communicate better with me, because he doesn't. His thing is, he don't want drama. He don't want problems. He don't want to tell me how he's really feeling about things, because he doesn't want me to be upset, or he doesn't want us to be arguing, or he don't want that rah-rah or the frustration and all of that. So he'll be quiet, and it'll fester, and it'll build. And when it explodes, then I was exploding, and we both like, and we yelling at each other, and I always say to him, like, when we're done, I'm like, we both was yelling at each other, but nobody heard what the other person was saying, because we're both in our feelings, and we're both yelling, and then we trying to yell, and then if the youngest is home, we trying to yell and discreetly. So now you upset because you really can't get out. Sorry, you really can't get out what you want to get out. But he doesn't. I wanted to say, like, I hope you're listening to Pastor Darryl about the communication. I don't think it's what you say, it's how you say it. And he doesn't communicate for fear of me being upset, or he doesn't want it to go into something else, or he doesn't want to, you know, share how he feels, or I don't know. But I just feel like for it to be healthy for him, he needs to be able to say how he feel and be okay with that. But I need to be able to receive it.
Right.
And I don't sometimes receive it, because it's how he says it.
Yeah.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. How he say it, like he'll walk around, whatever, and I'm like, what's wrong? You all right? So I could tell. I'm a woman. I'm your wife. I know you. I know his mannerisms. I'm like, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. No, you're not. No, you're not. What's wrong? I'm all right. I said I'm all right. No, you're not. And if we keep going back and forth, then it'll lead into something else. So now I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with him. Something's going on with him, but he's not being verbal and vocal to say what's going on with him.
Right.
And then something to trigger it, and now we both at each other's necks when it wasn't even a problem to begin with.
Right.
Just say how you feel. But I haven't been able. I have to be in a place to receive it, because I don't want you to feel like I'm disrespecting you, or I'm not listening to you. And he'll say, even what, like, my idea, or I'll do something, and then I'll say, oh, but let me check with my husband. He was like, but your mind already made up. You done already made the plan. You done already did this, that, and the other. You just come to me for what? Just to let me know? You ain't coming to talk to me or compromise on anything. You already doing what you going to do anyway. And he says that. And it's hard for me sometimes to be vulnerable in that place. And I'll say vulnerable because sometimes I feel like it's a tug of war, and I need to take my, stand my ground and take my stance and and I think that comes from previous relationships and things that I've and I'm dealing with things, but I need to be comfortable enough to just accept it. And when we got into it the other day, the next day,
into it?
Yeah, remember after
Shoot
we
him.
left the
Get
party.
close to Joe.
Remember the night of the party?
I left so it won't be no problem.
Right, but we were still, I was still feeling some type of way. So the next day I was driving somewhere, and I was thinking about like our journey and just different things. And it's like, I love my husband, I appreciate everything that he does, but did I tell him that? And so I sent him this text message, and I apologized. And when I got home, because I was on the road going somewhere, and when I got home, he said to me, when I read your text message and you actually said, I'm sorry, it brought tears to my eyes. Because it's rare that I'll go and say, I'm sorry.
Baby. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of times. Yeah. Can I add one more thing? I don't want to really dominate this form.
That's powerful.
Oh, stop.
And this,
when you say you don't want to dominate this form is for us.
Yeah,
okay, if you got a voice,
okay.
We all listening.
Well, I a tool that I'm able to use. I think I kind of learned this from my father, and I love a history, whatever. Sometimes what I'll do is, and I know my wife think I'll be rambling, but I spend a lot of time talking to her about, when I was a little boy. I'll take her all the way back to like 2, 3 years old about things that may have happened to me, whatever, and it kind of helps her to get a clearer picture of why some things trigger me. You know what I mean? Like, why this is important to me. It gives her a better understanding of like, this is something right here that really means a lot to me. And I like when she because like my first birthday party I ever had was when I met her, and I had told her, I said, I never had a birthday party before besides my mom.
That's crazy.
And our first year together, she did that for me. It was a surprise birthday party, and I think that if a lot of men,
how old was you?
What's that? I was 40. I was 40.
She gave me my first 50th birthday.
Yeah, I had never had that.
First 40 right?
And then I'm gonna flip this also too. And this helps with a lot of women also too, because I was once a domestic violence facilitator. My wife and I'll do this, and when she does it, she'll do it like sporadically. She'll just like one day just start talking, and she'll say, "This happened to me when I was 7 years old," and I'll just get quiet, and I'll just let her just get it all out. She'll be like, "I was here, I remembered this, blah, 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 blah." And it gives me a better understanding of why certain things is important. And I think that if that's the word we're using again, intimacy, if couples are more open like that to go, sometimes people say, I don't want to talk about it. No, you should, because it gives me a better understanding of things that set you off, that if you don't let me know, I can't avoid that, because I don't want to do anything intentionally to hurt you. Like a prime example was like something small. Last Friday, I've always had this thing about going to the hospital. I just don't like going to the hospital. And I was in the bed, and I was in a lot of pain. And she came in the room, and I was just, my stomach was hurting the whole night. And she came in the room, and so I went in the other room. And for those of us that's married, that's like really taboo. You're in your house, but you're going to another bedroom. But I was in that much pain. I kept getting up, going through the night. But then she came in there, and she said to me, she said, I feel you're being very, very selfish right now, because you don't want to go to the hospital, but what would happen to us if something happened to you? And some of the stuff that she tells me about security when she was a little girl, and being raised by her grandmother and stuff, like if she never told me that, I wouldn't be able to encompass all of that and realize, okay, these are the things like stability, security, trust, because if a person don't tell you where that has been violated early in their lives, you inadvertently bring that up and set them off. So I think that's a tool that'll help a lot of couples, and it takes a lot of skill, because like with men, sometimes men say, well, I don't want to hear about your other relationship. No, I think we should, because now I'm going to learn the things that's not going to hurt you, and I'm going to pick up some tips of what could work to your benefit. So hopefully those things will help all of us as a whole as we learn to be better, lovers, fathers, wives, husbands, and all that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Amen.
I think that's a good one. But I'm like, if I tell Joe some of the things that happen, if I'm like, oh, when I was 7, such and such happened, like, we about to go see him right now. Who is it? Put on your sneakers. Let's go. Yeah, put on your sneakers. Let's go. We at? But yeah.
I don't play when it comes to her.
Say that again.
I don't play when it comes to her.
I think the arguing part with us too is Joycey's definitely the one that argues. I'm the one. I'm like Joe. I walk around. I clean. I start. I don't clean like her. But when she see me cleaning and moving around furniture, I'm in my distance. I'm like, I'm quiet. I'm mad if I'm cleaning extra like she usually do. But she know that's not me. I do bare minimum. I ain't gonna lie.
If you pull out the wood cleaner and the glass
Then
cleaner,
that's a problem.
if you pulling out couches and sweeping behind couches,
Say that again. What?
I'm pissed.
Wait a minute, hold on. You taking it up a notch here? Okay. Tell you what. Every time you escalate up one, I'm gonna escalate up one too.
Yeah, when she see me doing all that, she know I'm upset. And then it's funny because when you talk about how people argue, we just going back and forth, yelling. If we had cameras on the outside, people would be laughing at us. Because a lot of times people listening to our arguments, we both saying the same shit. It's just different because I used to laugh at them like, I just said that. You just made it seem like it made more sense. But I'm saying the same thing. And we going back
She's a
and forth.
Scorpio though, right?
Nah, she's Taurus.
Oh,
I'm the
you're like
Scorpio.
me.
So
Stubborn.
I always say
very.
I'm the Scorpio, so it takes a lot to get me upset, which makes it perfect for us because I could take her rah-rahness.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, Joe, the next morning I wake up and I'll make omelet. You know, everybody know I love to cook because she posts everything on Facebook. But, you know, I'll make omelets and I'll make this big breakfast and bring it to her in bed with her smoothie that I done blended and mixed it with a little bit of rum in it because it's the weekend. And, you know, and I'll do it. But the arguments we tend to go overboard. And a lot of times I'll say something and she'll say, why? I'm like, okay, I didn't say nothing like that. Where did it come from? You know, and I think it's just sometimes I don't say it right, but I'm saying the same thing sometimes. And that's when I just shut up and kind of go. And then like you said, you keep going. And I'm like, it's dead. It's done. It's done.
Because it's not done. And
Until I get my point across.
yeah, it's not done because I know
Hear me out.
he'll just concede to avoid the argument, and sometimes there needs to be an argument. And that's what I feel like.
Wait,
Sometimes because
problem-
he doesn't want to
She's the
make me
planner,
angry.
right? She said, look, we're
Yeah.
planning an
We're
argument.
planning an argument. Okay. We're going to.
About 7:30. So when you finish eating, you got about 20 minutes. We're gonna start an
Because
argument.
we gotta get to the bottom of it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's gonna either fester in me or fester in you.
But this is the Bermuda Triangle I'm in right now because, okay, I try to dead the argument. It's done. I don't want to keep going. She wants me to keep going. But then I get put to a situation where I should dead the argument, but I'm going to keep it going. But when I keep it going, it gets worse. So now what do you do?
But I feel like I feel like hear me, right? Even if you don't agree with me, just hear me. His thing, and I'm like, hear me, like. Hear me. We can't hear each other because we're going back and forth and we screaming and this, that, and the other. But hear me out. Understand where I'm coming. We may be saying the same thing, but just let me say how I feel.
But the problem with that in my situation is I'm gonna hear her out. Right. And Joe probably gonna think the same thing. The reason why I'm deading it is because I'm gonna hear you out and you're gonna say something that's gonna trigger me off to come at you. I don't want to get to that level.
Right.
Let's just stop it
So
now
stop
before
it.
one of us say something that we're gonna regret.
That's right.
And
I'm-
go down
I'm-
and
and
make
I'm
me
a-
some grits and syrup
Right.
for real. You don't
Right.
want, here you go. You do this number. I'm up now, okay? I was trying to sleep.
Now
Give
I'm
me
up.
some socks and a t-shirt.
Right, but that's
I'm
my
up now.
that's my
I'm
thing.
up now. You wanted this. That's okay. No.
Yeah.
And then my wife gonna go grab the window. They gonna hear us.
But that's my thing. I want to hear her out, but I can sense the argument going to get worse. And and Joycey, sometimes it'll go from something that happened today. Next, it was something that she talking about that happened 8 years ago.
Oh, you be
now you
big.
bring now you bring
No,
it.
what I'll do is I'll use something that happened.
You really do that?
No, I'm going to
Do
explain
you about to
myself.
say it?
I may
He
bring
said,
up
"Do we
something
talk?"
that happened in the past, but I'm bringing it up as an example.
To show
this
you.
is how I felt when A, B, and C happened. Let me get it out,
go ahead,
Eagles
go ahead,
fans.
go ahead.
I'll say, remember how and you didn't understand why it hurt my feelings, or you didn't understand why. This is
What
how
year was
I
that?
felt.
What year was
This-
that?
I know, but honey,
Depending on when it happened.
Exactly.
But he'll remember the instance because I'll explain the instance, and he'll know what I'm talking about.
Because Joe would say the same thing to me.
But it's
you
not
just
like
don't
I'm-
let stuff go.
No, I'm not throwing it
just
back in your
an
face,
example.
but I want you to understand why it hurt me or why it took me to that place
Right.
because
Right.
I'm feeling like how you made me feel. Da 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 da.
Now
Right.
my issue with that is you're bringing up something. You're opening up a door that should have been closed already. So now you're bringing in all them negative feelings again. Because back with situations she's talking about from back then, not just one. I'm just saying when she brings up something from back then, that was the time that me and her was was rocky. Why bring up the rockiness?
Well, I think the reason why you probably bring it up is because, just like she was saying, that feeling came up again, right? So
That we never fixed back then.
see, and that's the reason why, because, and it goes back to what my husband was saying as far as the intimacy, letting each other know about certain things, and sometimes like our past, some things can trigger us.
Yeah.
And and make us kind of like have flashbacks and stuff. But I think what you're saying is that the reason why you telling him that, I mean, honey, this is what I'm feeling. This is how what happened before. This is how I felt before.
Right.
So I don't want to feel like that.
Sounds easy, but to me, it's like I think she brings it up when she needs that ammunition to make me
Gotcha.
to win the argument.
So don't avoid what you saying. Did I know her? Yes. Did it happen? Yes, it did.
It's not even, it's not even just that.
Why
It's
she got
just-
my number? I don't
It's
know.
not even just that. At the beginning of the relationship, I admitted to her completely. I was getting into the relationship, so I wasn't like as much into it as I was supposed to be.
Right.
Now it's a different ball game. I'm 1,000% in. Back then, I'll agree, I wasn't into it the way I was supposed to be. So it's like, okay, you bringing up something back then where I wasn't the white that I am now.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, babe, why? You opening doors that's gonna make this argument even worse. What does this have to do with anything back then? I understand she's saying it's her feelings. I'm only talking about this now. Stop. I'm not, because then when she brings up something in the old past, it triggers me and my dumb ass to fall into it and bring up something that pissed me off back then.
I think
Which
most
realistically
women
don't-
keep that ace card.
Yeah, it's like that's exactly me. It's an
Keep
ace
it.
card.
Which keep it.
Right.
It's all about control. It's all about.
I feel like it's to win the argument, but then I think we go back and forth. I think
you
it's
think
just
about that,
it's
Joe?
too
I'm
much.
about to tell you what I think.
All right, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
And let him talk too. I got
All
you.
right.
Leave it alone.
I think that she knows my breaking point. She knows, like, cause I would go in my man cave and stay in my man cave, so to, like how she said, to avoid the argument. But it seems like this is how I feel. Like she know that I'm Mr. Sunshine, and sometimes I feel that she brings her problem home and take it out on me. I don't know, but at the same time, that's just how I feel. And I'm not a confrontational person, because I got a quick temper, and it's a house. I have a house full of women, and I don't want them to see the ugliness of me. So I just stay as humble as possible. That's why I'm glad a pastor's with us, because he keeps it Christian, keeps it 100, and I just need that positive in my life. That's why, because I'm a very private person. I don't care about nothing. But when it comes to my wife and my family, that's all that matters. And sometimes it kills me, because we can't be good all the time, but I at least try to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
So can I answer this question? If Mr. Sunshine, because we all got, just like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, right? We might as well put this out there. If Mr. Sunshine is the good guy, who's the bad guy? What's his name?
I don't know.
So we got to find a name for him.
Joe Davis.
Joe Davis. So we got to go from Mr. Sunshine, and then when she started getting there, I said, listen, do you want Joe Davis to show? You want me to call Joe?
Right. He throw the Joe Davis card
You
on.
call Joe Davis.
Throw the Joe Davis. And I'm like, what? I'm Tamara. I'm from the village. What you trying to say? From the village.
I think we got a breakthrough. I think we got a breakthrough, Joe. I think we got a breakthrough.
I'm Tamara.
Did she say she from the Ville?
From the village.
Oh, so you got a round-the-way girl, too.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, the whole thing is,
What about Joyce C?
Where you from, Joyce?
Joyce C?
Aquatic.
Yeah.
I've been in control my whole life.
Right.
Now, I leave the control to her.
But you don't want me to be in control.
No, it ain't that I don't want
A
you to be.
different kind of control?
I'm still the man.
Yes.
But I humble myself that, you know, whatever makes her happy, I'm happy.
Now, do you mean that?
Yeah,
You know?
I wouldn't be married. I don't need to be married.
Because I'm all right. Just don't try me. That's my thing. When I say stop, and I think that's what and I think we all have a breakthrough because, and I'm gonna speak for myself. Okay, I was raised a church boy. You know, all I knew was church and all that other type of stuff. And my wife and I, would balance us off with that, you know, my wife was really not like raised in church like me. I was in church all the time. And I had that thing for that hood girl, you know what I mean? I liked it, that little fire, whatever. So we look for that, right? But then, and I'm talking about myself, but then we become like Dr. Jekyll, like Frankenstein, you know, and that's something I'm trying to work with because we create it, right? And then we say, okay, now stop. And that's what I'm learning. You can't do that. You can't control a person. You know what I mean? If that's what you found and that's what you was attracted to, that spice, that hood, that flair, and I'm being honest, that's what I liked it. Because my wife from Martin Street and she's from Breton. I liked it that. I liked it that round the way girl. That's her theme song. So sometimes I ask for that. You know what I mean? But then again, I'm trying to get her to understand. But then again, baby, there's a time when I say stop. You know what I mean? And if it's something, you know, when you hear my voice, something's wrong when I got to scream. That means you're not hearing me, you know? And ain't going to be too much of that. So, like with myself, you know, what she's really, really grabbed over the years is that when I get quiet, because I'm very verbal, but when I'm quiet, something's wrong.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. You know, and they say in the Bible to submit to your husband. And I had a hard time, you know, with that. Sure. You know, vice versa. You know, I mean, he shows to submit to his wife as well. Also, too, what your husband was saying as far as I had a problem with as far as who get fed first. You know, do your husband get fed first or do the kids get fed first? See, in my household, I mean, my grandparents raised me. I had my grandparents. They wasn't married, but they had been together for a long time, and you know how that is. You know, we married by common law, but you know, I wasn't in a household that I seen, you know, married parents, you know. So there's a lot of things that I'm learning, you know, as far as how to be a wife. And like I told my husband, you know, even though you've been married before, that doesn't mean that, you know, you got 2 under your belt, but it still don't mean that you got it all down pat either. You know what I'm saying?
You mean?
And everything.
So who do you feed first?
Right.
Oh, the husband.
And why?
Why?
Because the husbands are the one that goes out and provide for the family, just like, you know, what you all said, all 3 of you. But there's a lot of men that's not like that. You know, there's a lot of men that don't.
They don't need to be fed first. Then.
That's right, and you absolutely right. Just like in the Bible, said, well, man don't work, don't eat, right? Exactly.
Plus, it teaches it teaches the hierarchy in the house because, you know, it should be like a unwritten rule. You know, you respect the man of the house, right? Just like when I grew up as a kid. I'm not saying my world was perfect or whatever, but you know, we just had so much reverence. So my dad, we didn't eat till he got home, and then we all knew come to the table. And believe it or not, those little things brings the unity of the home, right? And then after my mom, she's always said, well, your father's the person that makes sure that the food comes to the home and make sure your father gets served first, and then we ate. A lot of people say, well, feed the kids first, but that's why you got the kids don't respect the hierarchy of the house. They're doing what they want to do. So what I teach my son is this, okay? I'm the head of the house. One day you will be a head of a house, and you will learn from me, and I'm going to teach you how to respect your mother first, who is my wife. So I believe that if we set the hierarchy up, and somebody say, well, that's simple food, you should feed the kids first. No, teach the kids about respect. And that's one of the things that we don't have these days right now, kids learning about the hierarchy of respect in the home.
And see, but like I said, you know, I didn't have that in the home, so I didn't know. You know, I was a princess, and I was, as my husband say, because I was the only child for 18 years. But you know, my thing is, I mean, I just didn't know no better. You know, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't have no one to show me, you know, how to do certain things. I learned a lot of things on my own. You know, as a young girl, I learned a lot of things on my own. I made a lot of mistakes, but I think I did really good as being a young girl because things could have turned out, you know, another way. But it makes a difference, you know, when you have some two parents, couples in the household, and showing the kids, you know, the right way. Opposed to if I had that in the home, I would probably, you know, see, well, this is how my dad used to treat my mom. You know what I'm saying? This is how my mom used to treat my dad. So I had to learn a lot of things, and I'm still learning. And but I also tell my husband, you don't have all the answers either. You know, just because you've been married twice, you know, it don't mean
And 4 times
it
you
don't.
said
That's
that,
right. So I want to make, because I told you that earlier today too. But that doesn't mean that is right. So.
I think for us too, I didn't see marriage modeled for me, and so I'm coming in as this strong, independent black woman.
Yes.
I'm raising daughters, and they see the independence, and I see the independence in them. And I remember when Joe and I first got together, I had said to him, like, I'll call you when I need you type thing. Like, at that time and place, I wasn't really looking for a relationship. But then when we decided to move on, I'm like, okay, I need someone in my life who's going to help me raise my daughters. And
Did I?
yes, still do.
Okay.
Still do.
All right.
But it's like I have one, like I see her attributes, characteristics, like she's independent, she's working all the time, she's behind the camera, working all the time and doing all of that. But I want us to be able to model that, like, this is how a man should treat
Amen.
you. This is how you should treat a man
That's
or your
right.
husband. And even with, when you said the whole family dinner thing, my youngest, this is what she wants. She wants us to sit down as a family and eat dinner, but it's so hard. It's challenging because I feel like I have my hands in a lot of things, and I'm catching up, you know, making up for lost time, and he does the same. And he, you know, I have to work all these jobs because I need to be contributing, and so we don't have that. I would like to get to that place, but we don't have that. And even when it comes to cooking, like, I'm bored with cooking, and I said to him, I'm like, I don't want to cook. He was like, well, Dad, you don't want to cook, you don't want to do your hair, you don't want to do that, you know. And it's like, it's other things I'm trying to do, so how do we balance that out?
Right.
You cook better, so you cook. Or when you're home early, you cook. And then I'll, like, just balancing it out. But I do want to get to that place where, that place where we're instilling values and morals and creating traditions, right? Because that is a
Absolutely.
tradition. It was a time coming home, washing your hands before you sit down, sitting down as a family, knowing
grace.
that dinner was saying grace, knowing that dinner was served at a certain time. Like, all of that builds a foundation for your family, and that's something that when you're no longer here,
That's
that
right.
they will carry on.
on.
Yeah, they'll carry on. So this was helpful for me because it gives me another perspective and what I can do differently,
Right.
to help, you know, create some of those traditions. And it's never too late, you know.
Never too
Now
late.
is the time.
To build off of the family structure and the man being the head of the household. We struggled with that at the beginning because when Dwight and I got together, I was raising, being that strong single mother, raising my children. I had been in a relationship prior and a marriage prior, and I have 2 girls and 2 boys. So my girls always saw me as being this strong, independent, take care of yourself type of woman, take care of the household. And my boys always saw me as that too. So I think it was even harder transitioning the boys to, you know, we're married now, this is your father, he's the head of the household. And we've had our struggles with that because teenage boys get to that age where they start feeling themselves, and they've always been, they've been my boys, you know. They're very protective of me. They're very, so you know, Dwight and I, we had to work together with that, and even with his son, we talked about this in the last couples corner, just bringing those families together and teaching them, you know, the family structure, and you know, I always say I'm blessed to have Dwight in my life, in my kids' life, because he is such an amazing father to them, and I love that they love him, and he's such a good father to them, and my kids respect him, they love him, and we are building that family structure, and they know he's the head of the household. You know,
Right.
I mean, we still have all the struggles that you have with teenage boys.
That's
You're
right.
gonna have it,
Yeah.
but
Right.
they know that, you know, we have to get Dwight say so. They know they got to go to him too.
Right.
You know.
And I get the leg and the chicken. And
Yeah, they know that Thanksgiving he get.
It's been
But,
time when I'm not home. You know, it's unfortunate because years and years ago, it was easier for families to say, you know, every Sunday they gonna meet here. And now people like me and Joe that work these crazy hours, it's hard to get that dinner time down for family.
Yeah.
Man, that's the biggest struggle we having right now. And you know, and Joyce tries to be the perfect wife where I'm coming home at 11 o'clock. My plate is just now being served to me, but now it's to the point where I can't eat that late no more. So I don't even get that late meal because she know I can't eat like that now. You know, it's hard, but you know, she does as good as any perfect woman could for me. You know, and same thing for me. It's like, you know, but I gotta say on the other side of it too. When I feed my wife, I tend to, if people see how I feed her. I got my daughter Kennedy. I spoil her, but when I feed her on glass plates with forks. When I feed everybody else, they get paper plates. Yeah, good. It's
When
like
our 12-year-old, she gets
jealous.
and she's like, you just took mommy a plate in her office. Can you serve me? Can you bring me a plate? And I'm like, no, that's my husband. Get out.
to me, it's like I'm serving my wife, regardless if I'm cooking for her. She gets the nice plate. I don't care what time of day it is. It's not paper. It's not a plastic fork. She get her plate, she get her glass cup. That's one thing I don't mind washing. You know, y'all can get y'all paper plates and y'all plastic forks.
But you know what? But one thing about the kids, and that's what I was saying, being that they see that in the household, your daughter's gonna expect that from that man, and which is a good thing.
Yeah.
She's gonna be expected to be treated like she's supposed to be treated.
Yeah.
So.
And with all of that, you know, it's safe for us to say, you know, as husbands, wives, parents, the whole nine. I don't think that one person has the right answer. You know, as Brother Joe said, we all come together, we learn from each other, we share. But one of the things I think we can all collaboratively say, at least we trying.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And we can support each other as groups and learn from each other. And I tell my kids this all the time. If y'all want to say I failed as a father, I can live with that. Get out.
And also too, I just hope that, you know, those that are watching, I'm hoping that, you know, you guys learned something or heard something from one of us. I think that we all being transparent, we all are being honest, and this is real life stuff. And you know, we're not judging each other.
Right.
We in this circle is because we want to be a support to each other. We're real about our marriage, and we just want to be able to, while we helping ourselves, to be able to help someone else. So I just thought that, you know, that I would say that, because, you know, folk can be so judgmental.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They you know, for folks that know you, or think they know you, and it can be judgmental. So I just thought that I would throw that out. So, and if we felt that, you know, there was a secret about anything, we wouldn't be at this table. So we just wanted to tell you that.
The Applaud Project. This is a wonderful project. Wonderful vision.
Yes. So that's why this was all established, like to just have a safe space. So the idea and understanding is that we're on our marriage journey individually, like couples. It's our marriage, your marriage, individually, but yet together, because we're in marriages. And no marriage is perfect.
Right.
It's no walk in the park. It's a constant day to day. And yes, we argue, we fuss, we fight, we trying to learn each other, need to communicate better and do all of that. But at the end of the day, like you said, we're trying.
Right.
We're trying. And for me, this was an eye opener for me, because I see areas that I can improve on.
Absolutely.
And I'm just appreciative that my husband is where he is. In his own walk, that he is where he is, and that, I mean, even my daughters, they love him so much that, one, because I'm protective of them, I wouldn't just allow anyone to be around them, but they love him so much that they go to him before they come to me. And I'm like, what you talked to him about before you came to me? Like, you know, but I'm appreciative of that, of the relationship that they have, but it's no walk in the park. we have our, days where it's difficult and challenging, and we've even questioned, like, what we doing here? Like, let's get it together.
Right.
But love, as they say, love keep us together, and so we just, trying to make the best of what we have, and we're doing it alongside of other couples who are, interested in doing the same. So,
Love. Love would keep us together.
all right,
Ain't
we
that
gotta
the
close
truth?
the song.
No. Let's capture it in.
Uh-huh.
One time and I'll say it again.
I love that song.
Just
Stop.
Cause I really love you.
Stop.
Uh-oh.
I've been thinking of you. Look in my eyes. Keep us together.
That's the only part we
Listen,
know.
but I gotta tell y'all this though. But they ended up divorced, Captain. They did.
We don't need to hear that. We don't need to hear that.
So on that note, Couples Corner is live. We did not rehearse anything.
didn't.
The
Not at
topics
all.
came in from others in relationships. They came in. So we ask that you send us your topics, inbox me your topics. Couples Corner will be coming on again in May. Real and relevant topics is Facebook Live, and that's how we roll. So I wanted to take the opportunity to thank Mr. and Mrs. Heaven for joining us.
Mr. Heaven.
Mr. McCrorey, Pastor
Mrs.
Lady,
Heaven.
Pastor Leary, Mr. McCrorey
Mrs.
for joining us,
McCrorey.
and my husband for
Mr.
being
Davis.
so willing. This was his idea, and Mrs.
Amen.
Heaven. So appreciative, Couples Corner, and we are out.
Good
Thank
night.
you all.
How long was that show?
Like an hour.